Famous people that don't age. Celebrities have it all, don't you think? Fame, legacy, money? It seems there's a few out there, however, that also have access to the fountain of youth. 22. Paul Rudd. Funny leading man Paul Rudd has been churning out the hits since the 90s, and guess what? He's been looking pretty much the same since the 90s too. Comedian, writer, actor, and producer Paul Rudd is well known for his role in Clueless rather early in his career and went on to star in comedies like This Is 40. Then he got cast as Marvel superhero Ant-Man, where he's still serving the funnies. He was even on the show Friends back then. He's now 49 years old, but he honestly still looks about 30. 21. Pharrell. His full name is Pharrell Lancilo Williams, but we know him better by his first name alone, Pharrell. He's been around since 1992, and if you compared a picture from then to now, the only way you'd be able to tell the difference is by his clothes. It makes sense, seeing how he started out as a rapper, singer, and songwriter, and then would move on to be a fashion designer. He's been on the music scene since the early 90s, but he didn't release his first solo song until 2003. He turned 45 years old this year and can pass for someone in their late 20s. 20. Julia Roberts. Once upon a time, the press considered her America's sweetheart. Now 50 years old, you probably wouldn't have guessed that she was a day over 35, would you? Julia Roberts' looks have done a good job of holding on. One of her earlier successful movies includes Mystic Pizza from 1988, when Roberts was only 21 years old. Then came hits like Pretty Woman, Steel Magnolias, and then a few years later, My Best Friend's Wedding and Notting Hill. She looked the same age in all of them. And to be honest, Julia Roberts has looked about 30 for a really long time. 19. Rihanna. When young, rising star Rihanna first showed up on the scene, she was a mere teenager, though she looked more mature for her age. Fast forward over a decade, and she looks essentially like she hasn't aged a day. She's now 30 years old, can you believe it? Rihanna, whose real name is Robin Rihanna Fenty, started recording music in 2003 when she was only about 15 years old and would find fame not long after. Maybe we should all spend some money on that Fenty makeup because whatever she's doing seems to be working. 18. Enrique Iglesias. What year do you think this photo is from? We'll let you guess. If it was 2011, then you were right. Honestly, one of the only ways to tell that a photo of Enrique Iglesias is older is if he has that goatee soul patch thing he used to have, because otherwise, he basically looks the same age. It's 2018, and that means Iglesias is 43 years old. The son of singer Julio Iglesias and journalist Isabel Preisler, Enrique was always gonna be famous. He even started out with the stage name Enrique Martinez so that he wouldn't be associated with his famous father. 17. Reese Witherspoon. It's been nearly 3 decades since she first started out in Hollywood, and that chin doesn't look any less chiseled. Reese Witherspoon was the embodiment of innocence back in the 90s when she was a young woman. Now that she's grown, she's certainly matured into her looks, but she really doesn't look that much different, does she? When she played Elle Woods in 2001's Legally Blonde, she was about 27 years old. Look at her now and tell us she looks 18 years older from then. 16. Halle Berry. Thankfully, her career seems to be kicking up again, and we're glad because we've missed Halle Berry. Even with her absence from bigger movies and the limelight lately, she looks exactly the same since she started anyway. Fun fact, she goes by the name Halle Berry, but her real name is Maria Halle Berry. Anyways, it doesn't matter what she wears and what hair she sports. Even that lightning white wig she wears for Storm. Berry always looks good and always looks the same age. Guess what age she is? She's now 52. 15. Sandra Bullock. Dear Sandy. She won an Oscar and has starred in rom-coms, sci-fis, dramas, and heist movies. Is there anything Sandra Bullock can't do? Yep, she can't age, that's for sure. Imagine being 54 years old and still looking as fit and elegant as Sandra Bullock. She hasn't changed much from when she starred in movies like Miss Congeniality and Speed. The only time she ever appeared dramatically different was for her role in The Blind Side when she had blonde hair. 14. Usher. Current scandals aside, Usher's another one of those older celebrities that we would have guessed was in their late 20s. But nope, Usher Raymond IV is actually 39 now, going on 40 later this year. This American singer, songwriter, and dancer was raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, then Atlanta, Georgia. His hair, voice, and suaveness have never had any fluctuations for the most part. If anything, you need to look at his clothes he's wearing in a photo to be able to tell what year it is. 13. Gwen Stefani. She's apparently no hollaback girl. She's also not someone who looks like they're almost 50 years old, even though they are. Gwen Stefani has kept her same youthful look that she sported in the 90s when she was still all about ska. Now 48 years old, that platinum blonde hair and red lipstick she always wears still has not gotten old. She became a solo artist later in her career, though she's been on the music scene since 1986. 12. Will Smith. Okay, so once in a while, you'll see the white in his beard, but other than that, there's nothing else that gives away exactly how old Will Smith is. How old is Will Smith exactly? He's 49 years old, and might even be 50 years old by the time you watch this video. Smith of course got his start as the Fresh Prince, a moniker that he had before the show even started, in case you didn't know that tidbit. He was a rapper in the late 80s and would get much more well-known after starring in the TV series Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by 1990. 11. Adam Levine. Frontman of Maroon 5 and one of the celebrity hosts on The Voice, Adam Levine looks like he's been donning that scruffy facial hair and vintage t-shirt since he was born, and it's all sort of been that way. Levine is now 39 years old, but struts around like he's still a 20-something rock star. Maroon 5 got more successful by the mid-2000s with the release of This Love on the album Songs About Jane. Levine got married to model Behati Prinsloo in 2014, and now they have 2 kids. Does this man look like he's already had 2 children? We don't think so. 10. Kanye West. He loves you like Kanye loves Kanye. It's Kanye Omari West, the college dropout. Except now he's 41 years old and his actual college days were like 2 decades ago. Where did time go? West has been trying his hand at music since the mid-90s, though no one really knew who he was until he released his album, The College Dropout, back in 2004. Fast forward 14 years later, he traded the polos for his clothing line, but his face remains the same. 9. Christy Turlington. Half American and half El Salvadorian model Christy Turlington took the fashion world by storm in the 90s and has remained every bit her radiant self nearly 3 decades later at the age of 49. In the late 80s, she modeled for a Calvin Klein campaign and just 4 years ago did so again with looks that hadn't really aged. She's also moved on to completely different forays, directing a documentary in 2013. 8. Elijah Wood. When they started filming the first Lord of the Rings movie, actor Elijah Wood was only 19 years old. He's even said so himself that he basically grew up in Hobbiton. Wood is now 37 years old, yet could probably play the role of young Frodo Baggins without seeming like the years have passed, at least not on his face. Since then, he's moved on to producing projects as well as DJing for different events. 7. Gabrielle Union. She was more of a sitcom actress when she started out, but as you know, Gabrielle Union has since made a name for herself. She started out in the 1990s, though she rose to more prominence after starring in the 2000 movie Bring It On. Watch that movie again and just see how many wrinkles Union still does not have. That was nearly 20 years ago, and she's now 45. 6. Jennifer Lopez. Whether you call her Jennifer Lopez or you just call her J-Lo, it seems whatever she goes by doesn't affect her brand at all, since J-Lo's still going strong. The producer, dancer, actress, and singer started her career officially in 1993 when she fully decided that the entertainment industry was where she wanted to be. However, technically, she started 2 years before that in 1991 when she appeared as a fly girl dancer in Living Color. 5. Jessica Alba. She hasn't acted in many movies lately, but you wouldn't either if you co-found The Honest Company and were worth $340 million in part because of that. Jessica Alba is now 37 years old. However, if you put her back in mid-2000s outfits, you wouldn't bat an eye at her appearance since she also appears to not have aged. 4. Beyonce. Rewind back to the Destiny's Child days, and we really won't see any difference. We might hear a difference maybe, since Beyonce who's moved on from the late 90s and early 2000s, but as far as looks go, she's exactly the same from when she was 19 to now, and she's now 36 years old. To be fair, even when she was young, she looked older for her age. Now that she is older, she looks young for her age. How does that even happen? 3. Kerry Washington. She's been acting for the past 24 years, meaning she started sometime when she was 17 years old. You wouldn't know it, unless you search it up on the internet of course, but Kerry Washington, star of Scandal and most recently How to Get Away with Murder, is now 41 years old. Perhaps it's her perfect skin, petite frame, or great hair. Whatever it is, it's kept Washington looking like she drank out of the fountain of youth. 2. Jared Leto. You'd think being a rock star would age him faster, but if anything, his lifestyle has helped preserve his youthfulness. The actor who played the Joker is 46 years old. To give you some reference, that's older than Ben Affleck, who played Batman. 1. Lucy Liu. Then at number 1, we have the biggest enigma of them all, Lucy Liu. What age was Lucy Liu when she started out? What age is she now? In either case, she looks exactly the same still. She's now 49 years old, making her older than Jared Leto. She first started in 1991 when she was already 23 years old, and she stayed looking that young. We'll expect it'll be like that for the next decade or two. Which youthful yet not so young celeb did we leave out? Let us know in the comments below, and for more videos like this, don't forget to give us a like and hit that subscribe button.